Well, aren't you cute on this hot day? Yes, you are. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the aviary. I don't know if you can see, but on the thermometer here we're at 95 degrees. I think the real feel is probably 100. And today, if we don't melt, we're going to talk about something fun, which is breeding society finches. And first here we have some diamond doves and some zebra finches that are ready to go home, and I'll be posting that. But if you're interested, I do ship. DM me on Instagram or on Facebook, and I have a male orange weaver that's hard to get on camera, but I'll post some better videos of him, and he'd be ready to go home too. So just reach out if you're interested. Society finch, the scientific name is Lonchura domestica, and as you can see, there's some babies right here. They come in all kinds of colors and even some different feather morphs. There's some of the crested, and they are unique for a couple reasons. First of all, they are the only finch that is not, there is no wild society finch. They were bred in China and Japan for over 1,000 years. They're descended from a couple varieties of wild mannequin, but the domestic variety, if you see those old, a lot of old Japanese and Chinese art, there's Calliope. She's one of my favorites. She's gray, which is pretty unique. Those tiny little oriental cages, those are, here's some of the newly fledged babies up here. Those are for society finches. That's how long they've been kept, that they're in ancient art. There's another baby. And so today we're going to talk about breeding them. So the first thing you need when you breed society finches is obviously a male and a female society finch. Look at this one begging for food. There you go. And that is either mom or dad feeding the baby as we speak. Isn't that interesting? You see a baby begging another baby for food. So society finches get their name, their common name, at least in the English-speaking world, because of their communal living and behavior. So it's totally normal for me to come in here at night, or if I'm coming here off hours or close to bedtime, to see, there's another one, society finches 5, 6 deep in a nest, or even for hens to share a nest, with 2 clutches. So 2 different females lay eggs and 2 different females raising the babies. They are also a very useful bird to keep in your collection because they are foster birds, which means if you have, a lot of people use them for Gouldians, for example. You can see how hot it is today. A lot of my birds are panting. It means that if you have another bird that's struggling to raise their chicks, or you lose a parent, or whatever else, God forbid, see that bird taking a nap, it's one of my Gouldian hens, then you can give the babies eggs or young chicks to society finches, and they will rear those chicks as their own. Now, it doesn't work 100% of the time, but they are pretty darn reliable. And so that's one of the reasons I like keeping them. Another reason I like keeping them is they have a ton of personality. Very common to see the males doing their dance and display, and I would love to show you film of that. And if you go to my Instagram, you'll see lots of film of it, but my guess is it's way too hot here in the afternoon sun for that to be happening. So we'll just talk about breeding and sort of cover the bases on that. Now, society finches are not what I would say difficult to breed. They are pretty easy to breed. Essentially, if you have a male and a female, and I'll get to sexing in a second, and you provide them with somewhere to nest, there's another one of my hens, then you will have more society finches. All the general breeding tips do apply. They like egg food and abundance of food. They like to feel safe, and they need a good place to breed. But if you're going to learn how to breed finches and start to learn, they are among the easiest to breed as compared to, say, like the mass grass finches. Like this guy right here is the only mass grass finch I've bred, or the Forbes, you know, even canaries or Gouldians. Societies are the way to do it if you want to learn. So I always recommend start with them or zebra finches. As far as nest boxes, they are not picky. I just had a clutch come out of this box. I've raised hundreds of them out of these woven nests. I've had them use the mason jar nests and this type of woven nest. The only one they seem not to use a lot are these boxes, but if that's all you gave them, they would use that too. I'm gonna use a light in here to show you. So these are two baby society finches, same clutch, couple days apart. But as you can see, there's some other eggs in here, and that's not uncommon with societies. I find they are big egg layers, so you might see as many as 10 eggs in the nest. The most I think I've ever had them bring out were 7 that hatch. They're pretty good about feeding them if they hatch, but basically don't be alarmed if you get more eggs than you do chicks. That's pretty normal. They are big nest builders. You know, like I said, they're descended from mannequins, so they're going to put a lot of material in the nest. I like to use things like coconut fiber, which is what this is, and then I tear up burlap, which is what this is, some straw, dried grass. I mean, they'll use anything. Feathers. If you give them paper towel pieces, they would do that too. And like I said, as long as you keep them supplied with seed, egg food, they're gonna produce for you as long as they feel comfortable. They, you know, minimum cage size. Again, you've heard me probably talk about this before, but per pair, you want at least 3 square feet or 1 square meter. Length is better than height. I get that question a lot, is how tall does the cage need to be? It's more about the length for them to fly back and forth. In this aviary, I have 15 feet where they're able to fly back and forth, plus this inside section. You can see some nest material out there waiting for more birds to pick through it. And as long as they're comfortable, you should have success. As far as sexing the birds, society finches are very hard to sex visually. It's very hard to tell them apart. Just as an example, if I can zoom in my camera, this bird is a male, this bird is a female. They look basically the same. There are some ways you can tell with beak shape and eyes, but that's pretty advanced. I would recommend the easiest way to sex a society finch is simply to watch them for a while. Especially if you move them away from each other, separate them out one by one. If the pet store or wherever you're getting them from will let you do that, or just watch them for a while. The males sing and the females do not. So the females can make a chirp, but they will not sing like the males do. And so that's the easiest way to sex them. Obviously, if you're getting eggs in the cage, you've got a female. So again, basic formula, lots of food, lots of egg food, water, safety, and a good nest box with lots of nesting material, and you'll get baby birds. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram, Facebook, always here to help. Put a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and thanks, flock, for flying along.
Birds in the sky keeping me down. They won't let me inside of their town. How I wish I could be one of them. How I wish I could be one of them.